Hi, I'm Kathryn
And I'm Lynn, and we are a coffee break
with Kat and Mom. Welcome back to our podcast. Today is episode 6. We're doing another fun topic today.
Yes.
It's going to be some story times from school, and we all went to school for most of us like 18 years of our lives at the least.
Yep.
At the least, right? Unless you went to like master's program.
I'm a doctor of chiropractic.
Yeah, so more than that.
Full of it.
But so we all have a lot of stories, and we're going to do some good and bad ones, and talk about some teacher stories too. Good and bad ones too.
Good and bad ones, yeah.
But first, we're going to start with our coffee review. And every week we do a coffee review from a different coffee shop to support small businesses.
Yes.
And we're just going to try it and review it. As you can see, we have our mugs that have our logo on it.
Yes.
So we don't have the coffee shop that we went to's cups today. We already tried it.
Because it was in Iowa.
Yeah.
Because we were in Iowa last weekend for some doctor's appointment. And so we went to visit some friends. And the last day that we were there, we decided to go and try a coffee shop. And it's called 392. And there's a beautiful story behind this.
Yeah, so
they're from Iowa, correct?
No. I'm not like completely like 100% sure on everything. I was told by somebody this story, but it's a husband and wife who are both WWE fighters.
Okay.
And he had the idea, and then she did the designing, and it's gorgeous in there. You have like the neon pink signs, but it's very like simplistic almost. But
yeah, there's
modern.
There's two in the Quad Cities.
Yeah.
Because that's where we're from. It's the Quad Cities. And yeah, so we tried their breakfast. I had a breakfast burrito bowl. So that was everything besides a tortilla. And
I had a breakfast sandwich.
And it was excellent.
It was really good. I ate everything.
I had a cappuccino with, the most beautiful little design on it. I actually told the girls that was pretty cool.
And then I actually got two things. We were there for a while. So I left with a matcha. And their matcha has, it's like honey and then something else in it. But it was really good. And I don't like it like too sweet. I don't like my matcha tasting grassy either. So it was great. And
then the color of grass, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, it looked pretty. And then I also got a seasonal drink. And I don't even remember what was in it. But
pumpkin. That was pumpkin.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm sure
I love everything pumpkin. But it was very good. I love seasonal drinks.
And then we were with a friend of ours, and she had, it's called Sweater Weather.
Sweater weather, yeah.
Yeah, and
I tried it, and that was good.
Okay, and it had pumpkin in it, and it was actually good. And I'm not a pumpkin person, but yeah, it was actually pretty good. So shout out to 392.
So I actually pulled up the 392 Cafe's little mission statement, and okay, so it says, we are a group of super hospitable coffee lovers that want to share our experience with you via handcrafted deliciousness. Be our guest. Founded in 2011 in Clinton, Iowa, by Jenna and Jay. So if you guys are in the Quad Cities, go check out 392 Cafe if you haven't. And if you're ever going to be in Iowa, make sure to stop by. I don't know, not many people go to Iowa, but
it was super good. So we always have some goodies that we actually taste at the same time. And of course, we ate everything before we took our flight back home. So Kathryn here tonight decided to bake some.
I'm in my baking era at the moment. I've been seeing so many TikToks on like ingredient or recipes and stuff, and I found this snickerdoodle recipe.
That's a snickerdoodle?
Yeah, it's snickerdoodle, and I rolled it in like
better than snickerdoodle.
Let me try. I know Bryce said he doesn't like snickerdoodle. He didn't like it. Let me give a shout out to the girl's recipe that it is. Okay, well, her username is NIS. I don't know who she is, but very good recipe.
It's very good. It could be breakfast. That'd be good with a coffee in the morning too.
Yeah.
Very good. Kathryn loves to bake. I love to bake too. We're both big. I love to cook, period. But during Christmas times, we always have our night of baking, like all different kinds of goodies, and not just cookies, but goodies. And last year we did it with our family, and that was fun. And then we pack it and we gift them.
That's our gifts.
That's our thing that we do every year. So that will be in our future Christmas edition.
Yes, we want to
podcast,
do all of the month of December to do a holiday edition. So please look forward to that.
Yes.
And
Because
stay tuned.
we're
'cause it's gonna be
Christmassy
awesome.
people.
Oh yeah, trust
Except
me.
my oldest one.
We'll be sitting here with yes, she's the Grinch.
My oldest one.
We'll be sitting. It's her favorite movie too for Christmas. But we'll be sitting here with our Christmassy hats, and we'll have some little stuff to
Some
look at
goodies
too.
all the time. Can't wait.
But yes, but we're gonna dive right into our topic. I'm gonna save for my most interesting story, which actually explains the title of this episode for last. So sorry, guys, bear with me. You're gonna have to deal with that.
I have a list, so I'm going to use my phone because I have a list too.
She has a lot more than me because my stories are pretty like.
Well, I'm
long.
a little older than you too, tad, but I did start into my elementary school. I mean, I'm sure I have funny stories that I should not repeat
You just
from
made me-
college.
yeah, you just made me remember. Oh yeah, we might.
And from college, I should not remember. I should not share here when I went to Palmer College of Chiropractic. I'm going to keep those. My mom doesn't need to listen to this, so go ahead. Or you. Am I starting? You want to start? I want to
Sure.
start.
Oh, okay.
I want to start because my very first, and I actually texted her today, my friend Stephanie Carbonneau from Quebec.
Stephanie Kaka.
Stephanie Kaka. That was how my dad named her. I met her. We had just moved in outside of Montreal, in the suburbs, and the town was called Ville-Lorraine. And we had to meet. That's when, in the 80s, when you could actually walk outside till the lights, the street lights came on, and it was still safe. You could ride your bike to school and whatnot, all this fun stuff. But the school was very close. So we live about not even a block away. It was all little streets. It was a residential town. And we met with our moms at a corner that all to go to school. And all first graders had to have, and I don't know what the teachers were thinking about with this, but we all had to have a noisemaker with us. So you were walking in and you could see which kids were in first grade because we all had this stupid noisemaker.
Oh gosh.
And we met on the corner of our street when we were both 6 years old, going to first grade. And to this day, she's my dearest friend. I could pick up the phone today, which actually I texted her. I'm pretty sure she texted me back already. And it's like it was yesterday that we talked last. And quite frankly, sometimes it's like months.
Yeah.
And-
No, I remember when you were on the phone with her, and it sounded like me when I'm on the phone with my best friend.
Yes, it's the funniest. So this is this is a very beautiful memory. Of course, we did some stupid stuff down the road because we went to school together up until I think college back in Montreal.
Mhm.
That we went to two different colleges, and then I moved to the United States. But and she actually did live in the United States for a while too. So it's kind of funny. Like we went together to this to back, and so but now shout out to Stephanie, love you.
Yes.
And she lives right outside of Quebec.
So I actually was about to talk about Malia, and
Go ahead.
Malia is my best friend, and our moms were actually pregnant together at the same time, and
Both
then
girls?
with my oldest sisters too, and they're also best friends. So I got really lucky that I had a best friend since birth situation, but we went
Literally
to
since birth. You guys are 8 days apart.
Yep, 8 days apart. And we spent almost every day together. I remember during quarantine, we pretty much quarantined together and we had a 10-day sleepover. But, and then we started to get a little bit mad at each other, to just contain in one space with them. But we went to pre-K, or preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten together.
Mm-hmm.
And then middle school and high school. We didn't go through elementary school together.
Didn't matter. You guys saw each other every day.
Yeah. But during preschool and pre-K and kindergarten, we would get in so much trouble. I don't even know if you know this, but
Yeah.
we, I remember trying to sneak out of the school, out of the bathroom, with Malia, and I was she was hiking me up, and I was trying to get through the glass, small little window, which wasn't going to open. There was no way I was going to get through, and we got caught. And then we had to sit in the principal's office, the little bench outside.
And then we
of it.
got called.
And then I remember many times where we had to sit in separate chairs facing the wall.
Yes.
And they're
That
don't
was
look at each
pre-K,
other.
Yes.
Don't look at each other. And we'd sneak glances and then start laughing. So we were real troublemakers.
And I remember that it was a private school at that time, I think. Yeah, that was at Lourdes, right? And I remember walking in to go see with your dad, and we walked in the hall, and we had to pass your classroom to go to your older sister's classroom, and there was a presentation that day, whatever. And we walked, and we knew the teacher had explained to us that those little chairs, specific chairs, were timeout chairs. And we walked, and we turned, and I remember you were sitting there in the timeout chair, and you turned around and you saw us, and the first thing you said, like, I'm not in timeout, I'm not in timeout. Just sitting
Which is
there.
surprising because I was in there all the time.
And the teacher had to come out and tell us she's not in timeout. But it was so funny because it's like we caught you, you know, doing something wrong. But but maybe that was the only time I think that you were maybe a little bit naughty. I mean, you talked a lot. That was a problem.
I think that's why we were always in timeout chairs. We would just talk.
Because I've never, like with you and your sister, even your younger sister. I mean, we were very lucky. Knock on, well, wood. There's no wood here, but you guys were really good.
I think it's for the best that Malia and I didn't go through elementary school together.
No, that would have been a whole different story.
Oh yeah, that would have been bad.
Totally.
But high school was great. I still go visit her at the University of Iowa. So we're still, she's still my best friend. We're still very close. So little shout out to Malia there. We're little shitheads. But we'll move on to a little bit later now. You want to?
Oh no, I still have one from elementary school.
Oh, okay.
No, so school back in Canada is a little bit different than here. We have 6 years of elementary school, then we have 5 years of high school, and then you go to college, like general, or then you go specific after that. So 2 years, and then you go to university. But so I was in 6th grade, and this was new. There was the second year that it was offered. It was like a bilingual program, I guess. I don't know really how to translate this. So depending on what your grades were in 5th grade, you could apply and see if you could make it. So, and I did, most of my friends did as well. So you did your whole 6th grade, like half the year. So by the time you came back from Christmas break, you were like, you had passed elementary school. You were done with 6th grade. And then you walked in this classroom, and we had an English teacher that barely spoke French. Her French was very broken. She spoke French that first day of school to try to make us rearrange our desk like in a U shape, and she was right there for the rest of the year. And then the very next day, she never spoke a word in French, even at our graduation at the end of the
how old were you?
6th grade.
Wow.
So your sister's age. Exactly. I was 11 years old. And then so what I love that year, there's a story with this, but a funny story, but I love that year because I mean, we learned English in a sense that we had to learn some verbs and this and that. But what was awesome is like, okay, that was the time we all had regular phones at home. So we all had different partners per week. And you had to make, for whatever theme the teacher had, we had to make a 2-minute conversation. So we had to physically practice at night, like from my house and my partner's house, and make and build a little conversation that we had to do.
Cool.
So we're all sitting in the U. We have fake phones that we had to make. I mean, we had a lot of art stuff going on.
I wish
in that class. I wish you guys would have that with a second language. Every morning we did like the day, the month, the weather, the this, that. We had to all learn all of this. It's one of my best memories
Bendorf,
of elementary school.
At Bendorf Bendorf High School. It's up until like high school that they actually start learning stuff.
Yeah, but
that's when we actually started being able to have conversation.
Yeah.
But not in 6th grade. There's no way.
But not like just learning like you guys unfortunately did in high school, learning like French. And it was all like verb and conjugation. Right. But at the end of the day,
hold a
like,
conversation.
Nobody could hold a conversation except my kids because that was their first language. But so I remember this. So this kid, this little boy, lived on my street. So he was technically like my neighbor.
Yeah.
We were at the end of the court. We had to walk past his house to go to the school. And he was, just like you, like prone to like trip on air.
Yeah.
And
I'm very clumsy.
Just spilling things.
I almost fell off the treadmill today.
Yeah, she did. So, I mean, there was always something happening with him. And he would always kind of start speaking in French, and the teacher would kind of get like mad at him or whatever. And this is a little bit gross, but he sneezed so loud and everybody's just trying not to laugh, right? And then he said something in French and like, can I go to the bathroom? And she said, that's it. Like, you cannot speak French anymore. Like you've been, and it was so nasty. He had his hand here and then he finally showed up and all of his,
ew.
And then he was trying to say,
can I go to the bathroom?
Yes. And in English. And then, so instead of that, he showed us, I will remember, I mean, we all cried. Some people were like doing this, but we all cried so loud. I mean, and I think
poor guy.
For the rest of our lives, I mean, there is no way that anybody in that classroom does not remember that day that you walked away and we saw It was the nastiest thing. But that was like some first grade to sixth grade.
Oh, wow. Well,
That was fun.
I just came up with, since Christmas is coming up, I just thought of another story. And it was, so Christmas time in elementary school was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I think all of us can like agree with that.
Yeah.
And I remember one year we did the Polar Express, and the Polar Express is low-key like a horror movie for children, but it has the holiday spirit, whatever. So we all went down to our school's library, and we read like a Christmas book in the reading area, and then we all sat down and had no school that day, and we watched the Polar Express in our Christmas PJs.
It was the last day of school, right? Before Christmas break? Or ish?
Yeah, I think so. And we all sat there with our Christmas PJs, and if you watch the Polar Express, if you like can hear the bell ring, you believe in Santa. So they all gave us a bell. And then while we were watching the movie, we went upstairs and we saw like footprints from Santa all the way out the door and like in the snow. And then, oh wait, no, this is when they gave us our bell. They gave the bell on each of our desks when we walked in, or Santa did. And it had like his footprints all the way out in the snow. And that was like such a, like, what's the word? Such a good memory. I'll never forget. It's like how excited I was seeing Santa's footprints, and then seeing it all the way out in like the playground, and then seeing like the little bells. We all obviously could hear the bell.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I remember that.
It's a cute story. I just randomly thought of that because Christmas time.
Oh, because actually it's not even Thanksgiving, but
well, it's Christmas time.
It is, but I'm just saying it's not Thanksgiving, and there's been like so many Christmas movies playing outside.
Yeah. I listened to Christmas music today while I was doing my homework.
Oh, whatever works, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I have so many, but so this is another funny one. A teacher we have our high school. He was the wood shop teacher, and obviously he was very hyper. I remember this. He was not very tall, very hyper. We were like us. Well, maybe it's because we were sitting on high top. Like everybody had. It was a table. Huge high top, bar top, whatever table with you could saw things and stuff. I mean, it was kind of dangerous if you want to, but it was still pretty cool. And he walks in. He was always a little different, but he walks in that day and he blurs out like we start the class. He's like, "I just want to let you guys know that I have stomach issues and I will be gassy. And if somebody starts laughing, they will be sent to the principal." And
who says that? What?
Like,
who comes in and like starts a class
like
that? I would start laughing immediately.
Well, which we kind of did, and I'd
be like, "Is this a prank?"
I know, and we're just like, "Are you serious?" And it was not a joke. I mean, it was not a joke, and they were deadly silent and deadly. It was. I mean, we should have all been sent to the principal because there is not one person, even like the nicest, most calm person in in my class.
Bro, like at that point, cancel the class or get a sub. Like,
and you had to come and help us. It's dangerous. It's wood shop. So you had to be close to us and you're like the whole time. Yeah. So I can't remember his name, which I would not name him, but that's a memory I came up with it. Yes. I remembered yesterday. I was like, oh my God. And then, I had to share this.
So, I have one last one for elementary school, and that is, about a teacher, and that's Mr. Firmoil. And he is my favorite teacher of all time. Except I did not want him to be my teacher.
Oh, you have no idea.
We are given two teachers for each grade, and there was this female teacher that I really wanted, and for some reason, like having a man as a teacher just freaked me out because I always had women.
Everybody said like you had to be in his class.
Like he's amazing, and I was crying because I found out that I had Mr. Firmoil as my teacher, and I had a breakdown, and it was third grade, right? Yeah, third grade.
Yeah, it was third grade, yes.
And oh my gosh, so scared for my life.
She had heard that if you did not, and she was messy, kind of still is, sorry.
Yeah.
And if you did not keep your desk clean, that he would come, that he was known to come and just empty your desk in front of everybody, and you had to clean up.
Or like drag you to the principal's office.
And he was, he was just so sweet. He was young. He had just got married. I think they had a baby girl while he was your teacher. But I mean, and we met him, and of course we did it on purpose. We did it, and I was like, yeah, she did not want to be in your class. She's afraid of you. And then he just played along with it, which she was mortified. Like, I don't want to be in this class, and I want to come to
I ended
school.
up absolutely loving him, and I'm pretty sure I was his favorite teacher or his favorite student. But
You were a good kid.
and oh my gosh,
Well, shout
and
out
he
to
like
Mr.
he like
Fermo- he
yeah,
still
shout-
teaches there.
and he did actually empty one guy's desk out and drag him to the principal's office. Very well deserved by this kid, but no, he was an amazing teacher, and he chose me for the best story one time in class. I wrote the best story. It's about a dolphin. Surprise.
Surprised. She wanted to be a dolphin.
Yeah.
And she grows up.
Still do. And then that was my last story for elementary school. So we can move on to.
Well, I don't know. No, you have. I have a story about you guys about middle school. It's not really a story, but so I'm a chiropractor, but I was a chiropractor in Davenport. I'm a chiropractor, right? But when I worked in the Quad Cities, the PE teacher of middle school was one of my patients, and I remember adjusting him a couple of times, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like we missed your girls. We missed, you guys were, I don't know, just graduating or close to graduating from high school. I mean, it had been years." And he's like, we don't, because we always told him, like, you guys never got in trouble. Would have been kind of funny a little bit, but we always like, no. Like, their dad went to that middle school and that same high school could get, kind of push into the lockers
or
whatever.
like the ruler on the hand.
Yeah, and nobody was calling your parents, and your parents were not calling and saying like, I'm going to sue the school, whatever. So, and we were just like, oh, we're old school. If they're in trouble, go for it. Like, don't even have to call us and stuff. And he was just like, we miss you guys, because now it's just like you cannot even raise your voice because it's the parent of the other kid that heard me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember, saying this. Like, but you guys were never in trouble, but it would have been funny maybe one time if you guys would have been in trouble.
But with that, my dad did go to that same middle school, and I ended up having the same exact teacher that he did, and then I had him for 7th grade history, and he's also top favorite teachers. He was extremely knowledgeable on history, and he made it a very fun and engaging class. But he said that one time my dad and him had a wrestling match in class because my dad said something like he could win in a wrestling match, and it was like, apparently but apparently it was a very close one, and my dad ended up winning, but Mr. Pennington almost beat my dad. But I think that was hilarious.
Well, maybe he had to refrain a little bit or restrain himself. I mean, he was a teacher.
But he said he was really scared though when he saw my last name coming into his class, and I ended up surprising him. So that's a good thing. Positive feedback.
Positive feedback. No, you guys, and I think, well, the whole family, your dad's family, they all went to Bettendorf schools.
So he remembers all the.
So some like the oldest brothers were troublemakers
they were also
a little
very,
bit. So kind of like you just, oh crap, there's 2 more coming in. What's going on?
Yeah.
And Amelia was much younger, so it was it was okay. But okay. Oh yeah, I have a couple more from high school. So I was so that would be 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. And me and one of my very good friends, we had to be partnered 2 by 2s, desks wise. And we were totally the teacher's pets. I mean, just like everybody was moving, but he always kept us like right in front of his desk, like us, we were right there on him. And he was just like, my friend's dad was, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was on TV or he was a teacher or something of the sort. Anyways, and he just got like buddy with the parents, and oh well, didn't care. But he came in one day and he just started bragging like, oh my gosh, and he was talking to the class, but more so me, and I don't even know why. And she didn't even go with them, but like her dad just gave us some tickets to go see the Rolling Stone, and we're gonna go see the Rolling Stone and this, and I was like, okay. But he was bragging the whole time, and I was just like, whatever. So anyways, get home that night. I was a figure skater, right? So about come home from school, go straight to practice. And my mom and my dad are telling us like, so one of my best friend growing up, her parents, we were all figure skaters. Her parents were also my parents' best friends. And he was the VP of the Montreal Expos, when we had an MLB team in Montreal. And so the Rolling Stones were playing at the Olympic Stadium where the Montreal Expos played. So little did we know, we didn't go to practice that night because we went to see the Rolling Stones. So it was like the
Wow.
coolest thing. Brady takes pictures, whatever. But we come back to school the next day and he's bragging about it. I'm like, oh, I know. Because I remember when he did this on stage and everybody's like, what? I'm like, because I went. It's like, so until that day, yeah. I was like, why? You're a teacher. Why are you bragging to like a 10th grader?
I have, well, first I have like a small one, and that's just PE in general. I guess it's a big one, but I just hated PE. Like the anxiety of having to do like kickball, and these guys go so hard. Like they will make sure that they kick the ball straight to your freaking face.
The boys.
And yeah, and I just have no hand-eye coordination. It was so embarrassing. It ruined my self-confidence. The PE teachers would laugh at me while I did volleyball because they like knew my family, and I would go to hit the volleyball and I would hit it backwards. And unless
It was more middle school.
No, I hated PE in high school. Like, why am I a high schooler?
Right.
Or a high schooler doing PE? I'm swimming in the morning at 5 a.m. and I'm swimming right after school. Why do I have to do
Yeah,
this?
the team.
Why do I have to play
The-
kickball for
the
20
high school-
minutes
yeah, the
and
high
run
school
laps
team.
around a damn gym in circles? Like I'm a zoo animal. No.
And you swim like 10,000 yards that day.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then, I don't know. I think athletes should be put, like, what's the word? Athletes should have an exemption from PE.
But you know what was worse is like when you guys would leave to go to state championship or some away meets, you know, for the team, and then they would miss, not like math, they would miss PE. They would have to
yep.
make it up.
I'd have to make PE up for being on a high school sport event.
That you were in.
Yes. Like, make it make sense, guys.
And you were the athlete that was actually performing.
Like, now you have to run laps. All right.
I thought
I
that
just
was
swam laps for the school and got you points.
Yeah, I
But
thought I was
okay.
okay. But okay, and talking about this, which did not happen to you guys, but I remember one of your swim mate, went to the it was at the other high school, so
I know what you're talking. I thought you were gonna say.
and then he was, I mean, the whole family's in shape, like they were military. I mean,
6-pack.
oh my
ripped,
god, like yeah,
like swim bod.
that he was and the teacher did the height and weight and called, no, it was on paper, it was the report, like the PE report, and it said to his mom that he was obese.
Yeah, the report went home that he was obese.
He had no fat on him. I mean, he had a 6-pack. He was like, he was a very good swimmer. I mean, he's military now. So, I mean, he was.
But imagine like having to look at him and say,
so if he's
according
obese,
to our
what the heck
charts,
am I?
you are obese. I was like, all right.
He was
So,
all
yeah, what am
muscles.
I?
And yeah, his mom lost
Yeah.
her mind. I mean, she was just like, did you look at him? I mean, did you look at him before you did this? I mean, before you want to report it, just, we know it's not the best. We know like height and weight's not your BMI. But anyway, it was just, so that was, I mean, I'm sorry, that's a sidetrack. That was not us per se, but yeah, that was a PE story for like athletes. You know?
Yeah. But an actual story that I have is my favorite teacher from high school, which is actually Bella's favorite teacher too, Mr. Jacobs. I'm exposing myself, so hopefully he never sees this. But Mr. Jacobs, we did actually cheat on our exam.
Oh
Too
my
late
God.
now. Too late
What?
now. Mom, you knew this.
No,
Too
I
late
didn't.
now. Yes, it was hybrid learning,
Oh yeah.
and he told us to take the exam at home. No lockdown browser then, no honor lock, no screen recording, whatever.
It was 2020, right?
So I told my friend Jenna and Malia to come over to my house and we're all going to take the exam together. And we all started, this was really dumb, but we all started the exam at the same time. And we made sure to get different scores though, but we all got an A. We just made sure to get different scores. Okay, so we all got like a 98 out of 100, a 96 out of 100, and like a 97. And we get back the next day and we're in his class and he was like, Kathryn, Malia, Jenna, only 3 girls in the class. And he's like, come see me after class. And I'm like, she knows. So I'm texting them and I'm like, guys, I got this, play along. Like, we're just going to go with it. So he pulls us up at the end of class and he goes, I was watching everybody take their test and you guys started your exam at the same exact time, all 3 of you, only 3 girls in the class. And I'm going to let you have one chance to tell me whether or not you cheated or not. And I was like, no. So I was like, did we all get the same score on the exam? And he was like, no. And I was like, all right, did we get the same questions wrong at least? And he was like, no. So I used that as my first argument. And then second, I said I sent a text to each of them that I was starting the exam, and it started too, so we all could tell each other our scores at the end of it. And I showed him the text. Or no, I didn't show him the text. I said, do you want me to show you the text? I had no text to show. So I was really praying that he wasn't going to like say anything. But he's like, no, I don't want to see the text. I just want to give you guys one more chance to tell me. And I was like, no, we didn't cheat. I just told you. And we also didn't even get the same score. So I don't understand what you're like accusing me of. So he let us go. And then my friend Macy was going down the hall and heard him talking smack to another teacher about how he has 3 girls in his class who claimed they didn't cheat on their test. So I went up to him the next day and I was like, all right, so I hear you're talking crap to teachers now, even though I didn't cheat on your exam. And he got so red. He's like, who told you that? There was nobody in the hallway. And I was like, actually, there was. And I was like, you need to be more careful when you're talking crap about your students. But
yeah, no choice.
I'm exposing myself now. We actually did all sit there and do the exam together. So.
Oh, it was not cheating. You just helped each other
you
out.
let me go home and take the test instead of in person in class. So what do you expect? I think I said like 20 times in that story, but you get the point. like.
Yeah. So I have a couple more from high school, but coming back to PE in high school. So it's different in Canada. Maybe it's different now than when I grew up. Okay, it's different in Canada. I mean, but when I grew up anyways, we, like in high school, we didn't have like high school teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys were like on the swim team, there's volleyball, football, whatever. We didn't have that. So if you played a sport, it was club, right? So we had you guys had that too, I thought, like the big Olympiads, like kind of the Olympics, like school, like once a year.
Oh yeah,
and you
like
would get
push-ups,
you guys had the presidential thingy. We had like the,
oh my gosh,
depending on how much you were doing. Yeah, that's what we had too. And then I remember this because for us that was it. That's pretty much all you could really show off, you know, like that you were good at a sport. And then you got the little patch that, I don't even know, did we?
I remember the freaking stickers.
Like gold, bronze, and gold, silver, bronze that you could get. Yeah, the Pacer was one of them. And we had the orienteering one that it was outside that you had to actually find place. You need to use a compass and do stuff or whatever. So,
oh wow, we did not have that.
We had that too. Anyway, so side note, but we had that, and I remember that was huge because everybody was just so all of a sudden like, you know, you've never played a sport with any of these kids, and all of a sudden like, holy cow, this is a very competitive person. I mean, so you just like all of a sudden like next to these kids, you're like, shit, I didn't know you were like so competitive. Now you're like, and then you just
people would get so competitive.
Yes, it was terrible. I remember this. I was
gonna meet the standard that I need to meet, and I'm stopped.
And I will say like girls were okay, but a couple of guys were just like, oh my gosh, they were a-holes, you know, like during those Olympiads. It was just terrible. But to go back to this, so I went to a private Catholic school, and we had the uniform, and it was at a I think there was a church obviously in the school, but they were we say fathers. Yeah, that were running. So the principal, the vice principal, everybody was just, you know, like from the church. And clearly we're all men, right? So you're walking in, and we had the little skirt, and especially we had pants, but we had the plaid skirt with the big huge.
Yeah, we had that at Lourdes. Yeah, the pleats.
But you know, when you get to be a bit older and you see them, everybody like rolls their skirts or has them cut, whatever. Anyways, and then we would walk down the hall, and my maiden name is Bergeron, right? So I just like, Mrs. Bergeron, Mrs. blah, 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 like, on your knees, please. And then your skirt was supposed to touch the ground, and none of our skirts were touching the ground. And some of us like were just trying to like, okay, and unroll the skirt, but some of us had it cut. So you're sitting on your knees, and you're just doing this forward to make sure that this touched the ground, and they would be like, okay, you can stand. Or if you would walk, and you were supposed to be in class or whatever, and you're just like, why are you out of your classroom? And you just have to say, I have my periods. And then they would be like, oh my gosh, don't want to know, don't want to hear about this and stuff. And they'd be like, you can go now. I'm like, oh, okay, good. So it could be like
perfect way to stop a conversation.
Oh, it was like,
guy.
Oh yeah, but
especially like a father.
They were fathers, you know, so they'd be like, oh yeah, you can go, like you go now. So you could be in the bathroom for a little bit, just taking your time. and then eventually go back to the classroom. But so I remember that from them, that they were pretty strict about this, but the dang skirt, like nobody wanted to have a skirt past the knee. I mean, that
No.
was just terrible. It was
Past the knee is crazy.
Past the knee is crazy, yeah. But so when I was in, I think it was the 10th grade. Yeah, it was not our last year. So it was the 10th grade trip. So it was like a field trip. We were every year, like everybody was like looking forward to be in 10th grade to do that trip. And we were going for, I think we left on Friday, coming back Sunday, and it was in Toronto. So we went to visit a lot of, like, there's theme parks, this and this, downtown Toronto.
Wow, our school never did that.
So that was pretty cool. We had like those buses with the bathroom in it. I mean,
How many people were in your class?
We were two class of 20 for sure. So there was like two buses.
Yeah, my class was like 400 people. So
in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't remember.
Okay.
But so we were like 20 times 4 or 22 times 2 or whatever. No, I think it was times 4. It was 4 classes. But so we had all these big, huge buses with the bathroom in it and stuff. And our bus, of course, was the coolest one. We had like somebody bought a boom box. So we were listening to like AC/DC and Metallica during that time. That was so much fun. So we were staying overnight in a big gymnasium. We all had our sleeping bags and pillows and whatnot. And I'm guessing it was a high school, elementary. It had to be a high school because there was we were all taking showers in the locker rooms and stuff. So we were sleeping there. So the group of friends, like, girls and guys that we were always together, the guys were just, part of my friendship, they were just assholes, like it's the time. Yeah. They're growing. They're just,
and you're at a sleepover with practically a sleepover with a bunch,
and you're not supposed to be like a boy next to a girl. Yeah. So like all the teachers were there, like watching us and stuff. So there was one that was a little shithead, I would say mostly every day. Yeah. And the boys just wanted to play trick on him and prank. It was a big prank. They gave him chocolate. Like they wrapped a thing of X-Lax in a wrapper of a chocolate bar, and he ate it. And in retrospect right now, you're just like, karma. But it was terrible. He shit himself. I mean, it was just like,
that's so
the
bad.
Whole weekend, we had a hard
time. Bad. That's so embarrassing.
It was terrible. And then, of course you laugh, and then you get to a point, you're like, oh crap. Well, no pun intended, but that was terrible. I mean, yeah. I remember it was funny. So when you graduate, right? So the following year, it's your, at the end of the year album. What would you call this?
End of the year album? Yearbook.
Your yearbook. Yeah. So when you were the seniors, you had obviously a bigger picture, and you could write. I mean, you didn't have that much space, but you had to write, like things that you remember, fun stories. Whatever.
Yeah, your senior quote or something.
Yeah, so like quotes, or you say like 3 or 4 or 5 things that and everybody that was on that bus or that group of friends, everyone has X-Lax in that little thing. So if forever,
so mean.
His name was Patrick. Forever, Patrick. So sorry, but I had nothing to do with it, but I knew of it. And
did he find out too?
Yeah, he did. Well, that's why we all put X-Lax afterwards. But he found out afterwards. I'm pretty sure some of the guys got in major trouble. I mean, it's terrible because he was not constipated, so he could really dehydrate himself. I mean, it was a whole weekend of just bathroom trips.
Poor guy.
It's funny now.
Hopefully you're doing better. He probably gets nightmares still. Or like every time he looks at
he was dating one of my friends, and he was not very nice. So technically,
karma. Yeah,
it's karma. But yeah. So that was a big thing. Mm-hmm. But I think some of all this, because I mean, there's so many other stories. Yeah. And I know college, I have some, especially at Palmer and stuff.
It's got to be like a series, just like the pet peeves one that we did, episode 5. We might have to do another like school stories. Like story
the
time
pet
part
peeves,
2.
I want to say shout out to everybody that actually sent us their pet peeves.
Yes, we actually got some good responses.
Yes, yeah. We love this. Please send us if there's like cool, funny stories about school. We will talk about it on the next episode. Yeah. But some of those
comment some of your story, like horror story times, and we can maybe just do like a whole episode reading other people's anonymous horror stories in school.
Yeah, so, that's true. That'd be fun.
So send in some comments in our we're on Spotify, and you can leave comments on our Spotify podcast, and then follow on there as well with some
YouTube,
of your crazy
all
stories.
Of our platforms, please do so, because some of those pet peeves we heard was, especially the gym ones, like one after another, especially from the gym, like, oh my gosh, I was like, or parents letting their kids run in a parking lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know that's a side note, but that's a huge pet peeve of mine too. I'm like, I didn't even get to see that one, but
Yeah.
okay. But I think that you win. She wins from
This
today
is a major
anyways.
horror story. And it's actually one big story of stories.
Yes.
And she can speak on some of it too, because she was actually involved in some of it. We'll start with
Mama Bear came out. It was
we'll
not
start
pretty.
with the husband. It's a husband and wife. The husband was my swim coach in high school, and he also was a teacher.
What was he teaching?
Wait,
Oh, it's
PE. Gosh,
PE.
how did I forget that? He was literally my PE
Yeah,
teacher.
PE. She was
PE, and she was a history teacher. AP.
world history. Yeah,
AP history, and she was his wife, whatever. So I decided to quit high school swimming after the first season because it was just
second.
no, it was freshman year. After freshman year, I quit, and then I came back for senior year.
You quit for 2 years?
Yeah.
No, you swam with your sister.
Yeah, I swam with Bella freshman year, and then we both quit. She wasn't captain, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but if she went to rowing.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
But so I quit after freshman year, and we actually made it to state, and then got third place overall at freshman year. And that's when I was like actually doing good at swimming, and then I plateaued really hard. So I wasn't as much of an asset to the swim team as I was then. But I got so much shit for quitting the swim team. It was insane
Maybe
because I
it's
kept doing club swimming because I thought that's like what would help my odds better into getting in for college, because college recruits come to like junior nationals and stuff, which I never made it to. I kind of just plateaued, and I burnt out. But
yeah, you were swimming since you were 5. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was about time to be done. But I got so much for it, and the coach just acted like a 5-year-old in this situation. I had
he was the first bully of this whole story.
I had a very mature response or email to him about me leaving the swim team and staying on club, and he immediately told his daughter, who was my sister's age, and then told pretty much everybody else on the swim team. It spread so quick. And eventually, like, my friend group accepted it, and they're like, okay, whatever, we get it. It's low-key, it's high-key, actually, a toxic group of girls.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you were a huge asset to the team because you were fast. And I'm not saying this
fast then.
Well, I'm not saying this because you're my daughter, but you were fast. And so you were a huge asset to the team, and now they were kind of losing you, and especially if it was relays and stuff, but it was your own healthy decision.
Yeah, I made the decision myself.
So
I didn't feel great about myself on the team. I saw myself as points. That's all the coach saw each of us as points. He didn't genuinely care about you. I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel like a good connection with him.
He never showed up in the lifting room, and the lifting coach was a football.
Yeah, he's giving us football.
So you guys were lifting workouts. You were doing football.
Yes, we were doing like max outs as swimmers, and I was like, all right, this is dumb, but that's besides the point. That's another freaking horror story.
So many things wrong.
But
about this.
We'll just get to the story, and that is that they would have breakfast, or the parents bring in breakfast every morning practice.
It was a rotation.
Yeah, after morning practice.
The whole team.
Yeah, and because I was on the high school swim team, obviously I wouldn't even be there in the mornings, and I wouldn't get the breakfast, obviously. But I would come meet them there, some of my friends, in the locker room so that I could meet them, or I could walk with them to class, because I had the same class with some of them. And I was in there, and one of them offered me a grape. Okay, so I took a single grape.
One little grape.
So if you're hearing this on the swim team and you thought I ate the whole damn breakfast, I had a grape. Okay? Yeah. And somebody, I guess, saw me eat a grape and went and told the coach that I ate their breakfast. And I was in their locker room hanging around, messing around, whatever. And so then he had a whole conversation with the swim team, sat them down, and said that, or it was like after a set, I don't even know, and said that non-high school swimmers are not allowed in the locker room, and that I am pretty much, I mean, they all knew it was about, they all knew it was about me, and that I'm not allowed to go eat their food. And I pretty much ate their food and blah, and that's why I'm not allowed in the locker room. So my when another swim mom who was on
very good friend of mine,
her son was on the club team, and
in the high school team.
Yeah, and so we ranted the whole story to her. And so she made a shirt, and I still have the shirt.
For
I'm
Christmas.
gonna have to take a picture and put it on like the Instagram. But for Christmas, she got me a shirt of me behind
Bars.
jail bar cells. And wait, what?
Yeah.
I can't talk. Jail cell. Wait, it was my face behind a jail cell. Like I think I was
Bars.
holding,
Yeah, you were
bars
holding
like
bars
this,
and your face
and
behind.
it says like something like put behind bars for eating
Eating
a
a
grape,
grape.
and it's a plate with a single grape on it. So that was like a huge joke that we had, is that a freaking badass ate the whole breakfast, ate the whole grape.
That's one
Like,
grape.
oh my gosh. So yeah, the whole team got a whole talking to because I ate a grape.
But the whole problem really started. I mean, I've never had to even go talk to a teacher throughout all your years of school, and then here you are as like a sophomore, junior, and I have to actually show up because your dad was working a lot at that time, but was traveling. But I had to show up and go talk to the AD and sit the swim coach who, like, we've known for years because his daughter and my daughters were swimming, in club together, not just a high school.
forever. I swam with her.
And
for
you
so long.
I mean, how embarrassing that you're the head coach of a high school
Acting
swim
like a
team
child.
and have to apologize to a student and a mom for bullying the said student. And it's just like,
And get
are
like
you for real?
as the swim coach, getting the other girls to like put me down, and it was just, we can make jokes about it all day, but at the end of the day, it was terrible. Like,
It was terrible.
no swim coach, no grown man should be treating a child like that because they made a decision that they thought was best for their mental health at the time.
And the thing is, it was not just made because, you don't want to swim for high school. It had a whole lot of, there's a lot to it, and he did not want to hear it.
Took it upon himself to talk crap to the whole swim team about it,
which clearly didn't help. But then, so after the apology time, then I think it was the following year.
All right, guys, we're not done with the podcast yet. Get settled, because this is the last story, and this is the name of the podcast, which is The Time My Teacher Fat Shamed Me. So this is about the swim coach's wife, and we have, I'm sure every high school has this, but like homeroom, and it's kind of like a study hall. So we'd go there, you sign up for which one you want, and all my friends would go to hers because they all know her because she's swim coach. And they are on.
She's a swim mom.
Yeah, and they're on the high school swim team. So we'd all go in there and just chill out, whatever. And that day I wore a skirt that's like has a zipper. And I sat down, and it was an old skirt. It's a crappy skirt, and the zipper broke, and like from the top. And so I had one of my friends trying to fix the zipper, and the teacher walks over and says, in front of all the people, there's like many people because this was a popular homeroom to go to, walks over and says, maybe if you would have swam high school swimming, your skirt wouldn't be breaking. And everybody stopped, and like the room went silent, of course, right when she said that. Literally said, maybe if you had swam high school swimming, your skirt wouldn't be breaking. So,
which mind you, she was still swimming club, right?
Yeah, still club swimming. So I was like, all right, I'm probably burning more calories anyways at club swimming. But everybody's jaw dropped, and they're like, oh my gosh, no way she just said that. And it was so embarrassing because here I am standing as a junior with my freaking skirt broken, and a grown woman just told me that like my skirt wouldn't be breaking.
So I was at home. First, your baby sister was born.
I stayed strong. I didn't cry.
No, you texted me right away because you're not supposed to.
I texted the family group chat.
Yeah, and then and your dad was out of town again. I mean, your sister almost lost. Your sister was in college.
No, Bella was.
Yeah, no. You were. I think you were a sophomore.
No, Bella was a senior, so maybe I was a sophomore.
Maybe a sophomore. Anyways.
Oh yeah, so I was actually a sophomore because my sister was a senior. And when I sent this text to the whole entire family group chat, Bella went straight from her homeroom that she was in and went straight to the principal's office.
Yeah.
And bawled her eyes out to the principal, saying like, enough is enough. I'm done with these people bullying my sister, bullying me, bullying my family.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that a grown woman just fat shamed my sister in front of a whole class for some dumb reason.
And by the time that happened, I was on the phone calling, and then she had to take my phone call. She's like, your daughter just, I'm like, which daughter? And then it just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
Bella
coming
lost
over.
it.
Yeah, I'm coming over. This is not going to happen. We all had to sit in the same room. And then actually, so this teacher that said that,
Well-
obviously had my phone number because we were all friends as swim
Yeah.
parents. So I got a phone call from her at night crying and blah, blah. And I remember
she's crying. She's like, if I have a daughter, so if like a teacher ever said this to my daughter, I would
yeah,
have the
I
same
don't know what
reaction.
came upon me, this and this. And I
Yes.
just let her talk. And I said, okay. And I hung up. We had just had it.
Yeah,
with
no,
this-
I remember you had just said okay. And also, back to Bella, like when Bella gets really, really mad, she starts crying. What was going off? You were just silent on the phone. She was freaking crying. She was crying. I wasn't even the one crying. It was the teacher that ended up crying on the phone with you.
Yeah.
So.
Because your sister had already screamed, had her, thing with the principal. We met with the principal the next day, but I had already talked to the principal, and then she said, your daughter was just right here, blah, blah, blah. And then the teacher called me that night, and I was just like, I was so disgusted. I can't believe, not
woman to woman,
so I'm just saying it would have been, as bad being a man, but when I'm saying this to you, it would have been, oh my gosh, I don't even know where that would have gone. But the fact that I knew her and I knew her family, and we know the whole background of the situation with the swim team, and now we're like in the spring, right? So we're not like it's all done, like there's no more high school swimming at that point. And
somehow still,
and she was crying and stuff, and I could not even say, I was so, I guess the way I am, I'm your sister's just like me. When we're very upset, we cry. But I think when we're past that crying part,
just silent.
It's not good. Like it's not good for either of us. And I was at the point that she was not talking. She was done. I said, okay, bye. And I hung up.
Yeah.
And then the next day we were all in the principal's office.
Because like imagine, well, I don't think I wasn't in the principal's office. It was just parents, but I was walking. I had to walk past her classroom to get to my class. And I was really dreading it. And she stopped me in the hallway and was like, Kathryn, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I'm really sorry, like from the bottom of my heart. And she started tearing up. And she was like, I never would want to make a student feel that way, or anybody. I have a daughter, and if that were to happen to her, I'd be extremely angry and disappointed. And I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm disgusted in myself. And she apologized, but just imagine being in a room with all your peers and you get like shamed by a teacher because your skirt ripped. And that just appalled me. And I think I was just more in shock that happened, because I never would have expected that from any of my teachers.
And just for, just to say it, they were all in extremely good shape, which you still are, obviously, now you lift and whatnot, but there was no, like, you had not gained weight.
What brought that upon yourself, though, to, like, say that to
It's not like, if you would have gained weight, not that she should have said that, but it was just like, okay, but she gained weight. But there was none of that.
It was just weird. It was so weird. And it was so awkward in the classroom, too, after that. But that is the final story. We have a lot of great stories with teachers. That just happened to be a really, really bad one.
Well, it's just like it was such a huge part of the high school. It was 2 years long.
Yeah,
that
it was a huge part of my high school experience was the high school swimming drama.
Please send us your stories and stuff, because we really did appreciate the feedback and all the pet peeves of the other listeners.
And then go follow us on Instagram at @acoffee.break and TikTok at @coffee_break. Our YouTube is at @coffee_break as well. Go subscribe, follow, like, and follow this podcast on whatever you're listening on, and comment any comments that you'd like. Give us a rating. Let us know any of your crazy stories. And
if you like the lighting today, because we did it at night tonight,
we tried. So. I don't know if you noticed, but it's nighttime.
It's nighttime. Okay. So shout out for
392 Cafe.
So if you're in the Quad Cities, please go and check those out. There's more than one location. And of course, before we end, it's Would You Rather? Mm-hmm. Okay, ready? So would you rather buy all used underwear or all used toothbrushes?
Oh dear God. Okay. Well, this is disgusting either way. Please don't hate me on what I choose. But it's fucking nasty. I'm gonna have to bleep that out. That's gross. But I'm gonna have to go with used toothbrushes, because used underwear, like
You can wash them.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is nasty.
Oh, yeah. Well, because what I was thinking is if you can't wash it, then it's like yeast infection, STDs. That's all we have for today.
Awesome. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Love you guys.